This podcast is not recommended for children. It contains coarse language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 2. This is a correction episode for the last episode of Theorycrafting, because I got a lot wrong. So I'll just read the comments. So I didn't realize that that little scene at the beginning was explained later. Those coins are how the kings vote. 2 golds and 1 silver means there was one contrarian amongst them, and they're voting on whether to go through with the doomsday plan that was planned by God. Those were like the exact words that they used in the one I just read last night, chapter 2. The athletes arrive. So the 3 kings vote with the coins, and since there wasn't 3 gold coins, that means that at the beginning they're saying that they haven't agreed on it yet. So I guess that they ask the 3 kings pretty regularly, because not even too long after this, they're doing it again. So yeah, this is something that is asked pretty regularly of the kings, I guess. It's just what happens. Okay. And so that was originally commented by Hubris. Hubris was the first person to comment that. And then Halion Sama also commented on the first scene. They said the 2 people are most likely Jestress and one of the kings. And yeah, that's probably what it is, actually, now that I think about it. Which is weird since they're introduced like right in the exact same scene, but I guess it's just kind of confusing, and Ryokishi loves confusing people, so I guess it's okay. The scene is around or shortly after chapter 7. Yep. In the first scene, one of them or 2 of them didn't think they were ready to take action. The character introduction, though, was way too hard to remember the names at first. Yeah. I don't think there's much information there. Yeah, me too. As for the style of narration, I think we sooner or later need to think about the storyteller of Ziconia. That's something I was thinking about. But I doubt that there's any clues. I doubt that there's enough clues. If it's anything like Umineko, well, the storyteller was introduced at the beginning, but it would have been impossible to tell who the storyteller of episode 1 was from reading episode 1. And so yeah, I don't think that there is going to be much that will tell us whose point of view this is from. Seshaten is an obvious suspect. Yeah, because she is the goddess of writing. However, I think it is the same situation as Umineko. These first few tales might be written by the culprit, or someone else like Miao, Tojiro, or Jestress. I think that there isn't a singular culprit in this. I think that this is being pushed forward by a lot of people. A lot of people want the end of the world to happen. I think that there are individual culprits for different things, like who is Miao's mom. It's probably Veer, but never said that. Who is... I think it would be awesome if it turned out that Miao's mom was the Jestress. That would be pretty funny. That would be way out of left field, but you know. I think that we already kind of know the big mystery would be who are the 3 kings. I don't really see a clear-cut mystery here with a culprit, with like a single culprit. There might be like different faction that could be like a culprit. Like we could say that Leto could be the culprit behind it, and everything's being controlled by them. That might be too obvious, but I don't think there's one singular culprit who would be narrating the story. I don't think Gunhild is aware of a time loop. She could be older than we think, but in my opinion, the line was there to tell us she doesn't see herself as a young person. It can be related to her past, but also to her connection with adults. Well, I think that she might be older, cause there's something that is weird about Gunhild, like the way that she was just able to walk in to that research facility. Nobody cared, and they were helping her out with things. Like there's a lot of secrecy behind Gunhild, and Ryukishi, from what I've seen, he really likes to hide things in plain sight. And then when you're going back and reading through later after you know everything that happened, you'll see hints like right away, right from the beginning, even in places you wouldn't expect them. So I do expect that Gunhild will be older. And she might not be aware of the time loop. That was just me guessing. Going overboard with my theory. I like doing that, but like I do honestly think that she could be like an older person from the government or something. Maybe sent to. Maybe the government knows about. Maybe the military knows about the Three Kings, and Gunhild works for them and is actually like the opposite of a mole. And she's actually trying to stop the moles, and maybe she's aware of the moles. And Gunhild, she might be doing this so that she can get that high access to try to find her sister. The military could be paying her back with help by helping her find her sister. The Three Kings are definitely not Umineko pieces. It would be quite silly. It's just a cute red herring if the design is the same or similar. Well, I think that Hideyoshi... I'm not sure about the other two, but I think that Hideyoshi is... He's gotta be. It's gotta be. Ryukishi wouldn't do that. He wouldn't... Or at least... It's at least a reference... I guess that's what the red herring would be. Yeah, but even if it's not like the same piece, it could be like the same sort of character. It could be a reference. I don't think that it would really matter in the long run, because the Three Kings characters seem to be so much more different than the Umineko characters, so it wouldn't matter too much. But Hideyoshi, I think it was very deliberate that the character was drawn like that, and I don't think he did that by accident. My thoughts on the Three Kings: in my opinion, they are part of the Prophet's illusion theory, and they are not real people. However, they represent real people, and I think they represent only one human. That would be cool. They are the different emotions and personalities of a single character who is also the culprit. I searched up their names, and their roles mostly comes from Greek gods and goddesses. Do you remember the Tujiro scene when he was talking about blueprints of 8MS? Artemis equals water purification 8MS. It is strange because Ryukishi name drops other systems, but this is the only one which is a Greek goddess. She is the goddess of hunt, wilderness, wild animals, the moon, and chastity. Uses bow and arrows. There was a quote from one of the kings which talked about a bow. Artemis, water purification. Hunt. Other names: air purification, 8MS. Ansijam, Arabic word which means harmony. Palpal, relating to or functioning as a palpus. Palpus equals a segmented, usually tactile or gustatory process on an arthropod mouth part. Sistema curar, curing, healing system. Spanish words for Lato. Later on at the ending, when Meow operates his gauntlet in the sky, there is another Greek name drop, not a god this time, which is Icarus. He's the one who flew too close to the sun. He was the son of the... I think Hollyon's about to explain it. He was the son of the master craftsman Daedalus, I'm not sure how that's pronounced, the creator of the labyrinth. Icarus and his father attempt to escape from Crete by means of wings, but his father constructed from feathers and wax. Icarus' father warns him to be cautious. Icarus ignored his father's instructions not to fly too close to the sun. The wax in his wings melted as he tumbled out of the sky and fell into the sea, where he drowned. Tujiro helps Meow escape from this hell, but Meow fails. I bring these up not only because I find them interesting, but also because the Three Kings naming sense can be related to Greek gods. Where all this could go? The Three Kings are sentient AMS, or at least in a meta/illusion sense. In reality, they are a single human culprit. Seshat is named after an Egyptian goddess, which can mean that she is stronger than the Three Kings. Also, I think it's important to mention that there is a character who is from ACR Egypt, and it is Nur. This very well could be a red herring, but it's something. My thoughts on Gestress. In the past, I thought she was Lambda Delta, but I think she is just a red herring, and she has much more connection to Veer. I think she is an incarnation of Veer in a really weird sense. Maybe they cloned her, or she is her daughter, and we have a similar setup as Inumineko with Beatrice. Do you remember the last scene with Gestress where she was following Koshka? There were countless bodies, probably killed by Koshka, and policemen were also there. I think it can't really be denied that Gestress is a human piece. My Lambda Delta equals Meow theory is probably untrue, but I really like it. It has some cute implications. In a perfect world where Takano and Tomitake had a baby, we have Meow. Meow goes through the repetitions and becomes Lambda Delta. Quotes from Umineko. You know, every once in a while that terror comes back to me. I wonder whether I really have escaped from that hell. What if I actually lost my mind a long time ago, and I'm still in there, just seeing a delusion of us all chatting happily like this? That nightmare still terrifies me, and so I need to constantly truly feel that this isn't a dream. Hey, are you guys really real? You aren't just an insane delusion I'm having inside that hell, right? Right? We remember that hell, and you know, by throwing someone else down into that hell, we realize that, we're the ones on the throwing side, and that means we aren't in that hell ourselves. If we don't keep doing that, then the fear of that hell will overwhelm us. Well, that's pretty dark. It is obvious because of this that she went through the same thing as Rika did. However, Satoko and Takano seems to be red herrings. I had another theory at a point, which is Rena, actually. It would make sense with her love of cute things and her connection to Rika. Regardless, in Umineko Episode 3, Tea Party, it is revealed Lambda hasn't finished Higurashi yet. She is also the witch who granted the power to Takano, so she can't really have a connection to Higurashi. Umineko obviously is the same. She doesn't have a huge influence on it and doesn't have a human counterpart. I really like your theory of Prophet Meow being played by Lambda Delta. I was really confused by the line, my adorable Meow, because the only two people who said those words in Phase 1 are Tujiro and Veer. However, every time the Prophet said those words, there wasn't any name tag. It could have been a different entity who said those words, like a program put inside Meow by Veer or Tujiro. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. I didn't have too many thoughts. Well, because the Greek stuff, I'm gonna have to look that stuff up. I might talk more about that next time, because there's a lot of stuff about Greek mythology in this, I guess. My next episode might be about how Greek mythology ties into Siconia then, instead of going right into chapter 3. Which, if that's all true, then if this is heavily related to all different sorts of mythologies, then that's actually really cool. So I'll see you guys next weekend for more theory crafting on Zaconia.